Several years back, Peter Thorndike sent me two Kangaroo leather blanks in resin. One of them I turned and I gave the blank to my nephew. It's been 5 or 6 years ago, I guess, maybe more. And my nephew still has the pen and still uses it to this day, and he loves it. I found this blank while I was rooting around in my box of blanks, and I thought, you know what? That is a super cool blank. I'm going to turn that. So I've got a Toolbox pencil kit. I thought it would be really cool to have a leather pencil on a Toolbox pencil kit. Now this is a type of a kit that you would use around your workshop for marking boards, etc. So I think it's just a really good mating of the two materials. So today we're going to prep and produce a Kangaroo leather shop Toolbox pen. I've chucked up an 11mm bit, found and marked the center of my blank, and we are ready to drill a hole 4 inches into this Kangaroo leather and resin blank. This is going to be really hard to see because of the darkness of the blank, but this lower tube, I marked this as the lower tube, and that's the nib end, because take a look at that, the tube comes pre-threaded. These are very thick tubes, and this is where the nib threads in, so I wanted to make sure I marked them upper and lower, so I assembled them properly. You can barely see my line right there, which is the cut line for the lower tube, and I wrote the word lower on there. It's once again difficult to see. This is the upper tube. It ends here, starts here, says upper on it. I'm going to get over to the bandsaw and get this cut, and then we'll very consciously and very carefully get these tubes glued in, and we'll somehow mark them again so that I can keep them separate, because it's very important that the tubes are in this orientation. This blank cut very well. I went ahead and used a little blue tape, marked it up so that I can ensure I get the right blank on the right tube when I do the glue up. We are ready to glue the tubes into the Kangaroo leather blank. I've already got Play-Doh in the ends of the tubes. On the front tube, where there's the threads, I elected to insert it from the back, and the reason why is I didn't want to get the threads all mucked up with Play-Doh. I've already got my epoxy mixed up, the tubes have been sanded, and we're ready to proceed. Start with the upper tube. Now the upper tube, this is the center of the blank, so I barely want this tube to insert into the blank just below center. I want the slightest amount. See how it's just got a little lip there, so I can square it. When we insert this tube, we're inserting it from the wrong end, so we need to push it all the way back until it aligns like this one with the center of the blank. All right, not too bad. I've got it just below center. You can see it's starting to move back. We've got to watch that because the epoxy acts as a lubricant, and it will allow the tube to slip just a little bit. All right, that's where I want it. I can see it's already starting to move back, so until it tacks, I'm gonna have to keep a close eye on this. All right, we're gonna set these aside to dry. I will keep a close eye on them, and we'll let them dry overnight. Once they tack up, after about 5 minutes, that'll stop moving. I won't have to worry about it. We can let these dry overnight, and then we'll be ready to square them and start turning them tomorrow. I've got my blank chucked up. This is the nib end. That's the end with the threads. We're ready to turn. I am going to remove this tape. It doesn't need to be on. It wouldn't hurt. It would turn away, but no sense messing with it. And we are ready to turn this blank. I just finished turning the blank. It turned way better than I thought it would. There's a couple little divots, places like that where there were air bubbles. I guess the resin couldn't get in around the leather. But all in all, it looks pretty good. That's not a big deal. We can fill that. What we'll do is we'll get this sanded up, then we'll get it cleaned really well, and we'll fill those areas and sand them smooth, and then you'll never know they're there. What I'm gonna do, normally I would sand my blank, but what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna set it aside and I'm gonna turn the upper blank. And the reason why is I have my tool rest at exactly the right height. Sometimes it's difficult, you spend a lot of time adjusting up and down, but I've got a great height for the skew on this blank, so I want to take advantage of that. We'll get the other blank turned, then we'll sand both. I've got the upper blank chucked up. I am gonna film turning it, but if it turns as smooth as the lower blank did, I'm not gonna show it because it's a pretty boring turn. It's like 0.512 to 0.415. So there's not, it's just almost a flat blank. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this label removed and get to turning. The upper blank turned just as easily as the lower blank. It looks pretty darn good to me. I see an air pocket there where it looks like we can see down to the tube. Nothing we can do about that. It's just the nature of the material. I'm gonna go ahead, since this one's on the lathe, I'm gonna kind of clean up just a little bit, and then I'm gonna start sanding this upper blank. I sanded the blank to 800 grit. It looks really nice. You can kind of start to see these little tan areas in the blank. Those are the dimpled areas, and those are where the dust collected and filled the holes. They're unsightly. I want to clean them out. I'd rather have the holes filled with clear CA so that I see maybe the dark of a piece of leather at the bottom, or even the brass tube that I can cover up, than to see these tan marks. So I'm going to get this blank cleaned, and we're going to go ahead and put our CA finish on it, and then we'll come back, sand and finish the lower blank. I'm just going to basically rub the blank from end to end with the denatured alcohol, trying to really soak it in there and pull out any of the dust that I can. It looks pretty good. There's a lot of dust on there. I think the roughness, with having the pock marks, pulled some lint out of the towel. We're going to let that dry, and then we'll brush it off with an acetate brush. I'm just brushing the dust off of the blank, the lint, and something occurred to me, and that is I probably need to fill these pock marks before I apply a CA finish. So I'm going to get this back onto the turning bushings. We're going to fill the marks, and then we're going to re-sand so that everything is the same level, and then we'll come back, clean again, and apply our CA finish. Going to hit it with some activator just to freeze everything in place. This hole down here, this mark, the CA actually soaked in. My guess is it went down around the inside of the blank. There we go. The smaller holes are not a big deal. They'll level out as we apply a CA finish. We may have to apply a few extra coats, so I'm not going to focus on those. What I am going to do is go ahead and, as long as everything feels like it's dry, go ahead and sand this back down to a single level. Blank looks really good. There are some small divots, but truly, I think we'll fill those as we apply the CA finish. We're going to let the denatured alcohol flash off, and then I'm going to dust this again with the acetate brush, and we'll start applying our CA finish. Let's dust our blank off. This brush is also kind of nice. It's helping me I found a little bit of that powder from sanding still in a few of these little divots that didn't come out with the denatured alcohol. And the brush is doing a nice job removing it. Okay, I think that's good. Let's go ahead and get our first coat of CA applied. Look how it brings out the brown. That is going to be a cool looking blank. I'm going to shut the camera off, apply the rest of my CA finish. We'll come back and look at it when it's ready for micromesh. The CA finish process went very well with the blank. I got it off the non-stick bushings, re-squared the ends. I've got it back on the turning bushings ready to micromesh. We have our lathe buddy on the lathe to protect the ways. This is really nice. I've talked about it in another video, but it's a mat, and it has a back on it that keeps the moisture from coming through. So it catches and absorbs any moisture from micromeshing. It doesn't let it through, and when it gets grungy and dirty, you throw it in the washing machine and wash it. I got this from 3rd Gen Pin Shop, and so amazing. It's a great little tool, and I love it. I'll come back and show you this blank when I finish the micro mesh process. The blank looks amazing. I got it back down to the bushings, so I should have a nice fit when I assemble. Only issue I see is right there and right there where you can see the tube. I didn't know that would happen. Obviously, with it being a Kangaroo leather blank, I didn't think I would need to paint the tube. So I guess what I would say is when in doubt, go ahead and do it. Put a little wax on here. Then we'll set it aside. I'm going to go ahead and finish up the other blank and get it to this point, and then we'll come back and buff them both. Got the lower blank on the lathe, ready for sanding. Not going to film this. It's just the same process I did on the upper blank, so I'm not going to bother filming it. If anything goes wrong, I'll come back and show you the issue. Otherwise, I'll come back when we're ready to begin the buffing process. This blank turned out really nice. The collet is supposed to press this piece into the tube, but that is one heck of a spring. What you're looking at is how I was able to compress the spring and assemble the collet into this shaft. I basically put it on my press and I aligned it very carefully and I slowly pressed it in until it stopped. This is the only way to do it. I could not do it by hand, but it worked and it's together. Now, this piece will actually thread into the lower half of the blank. But before we thread it in, I want to press this connector into the blank. Looking through the instructions, I just learned that I need to cut a 7/64" tenon on the back of the upper blank. That's going to be interesting because if the blank is against a bushing and I need to cut a 7/64" tenon all the way to the tube, my parting tool is 1/8 of an inch. So that's going to be interesting. So we'll see what happens there. We may have to cut a 1/8 inch tenon and unfortunately shorten it on the disc sander. The real trick here is not going to be turning a tenon. That's easy. It's going to be turning a tenon without destroying the finish we've already put on the blank. Hold your breath on this one. I got to get rid of some of that glue. I think that might do it. Let me get the part that snaps on there and let's do a test fit. Okay, we can press that on there, but I think we're going to have to get rid of a little bit of that material because this is 7/64 and this is 8/64. So I'm going to take this over to the disc sander. I'm going to remove just enough material from the end of this 1/64 of an inch to be able to press this on and have it fit tightly against the blank. The other thing that it mentions, which makes me nervous, is it wants us to put a dot of CA glue on this. I think I'm going to avoid that step because if I put CA on there and it squishes out, I smear it all over the blank and I end up messing with my finish. So I think I'm going to try just pressing it on. If it stays put, I'm going to be happy. If it comes off, I'll revisit and glue it on. I've removed some material from the end of the blank. I think I can now press this into place. Just going to be real careful with it. Put the bushing back on there. And let me make sure I'm aligning it properly. It looks like I am. Okay, so pressed on nicely. Looks like it fit pretty nicely. Slid right on there. Let's go ahead and finish assembling the pen. I'm going to put the bushing in this end. We got to press this onto here. I think we can use the bushing in this end. Let me double check. Yep, we sure can. We've got it into our press, and we're just going to slowly and carefully press it together. Wow, we got a nice fit. If I'm correct, we should just have to thread this piece. I'm not a fan of this next step, but you see that little indentation right there? We're supposed to put CA glue around that, and then we're supposed to put it on top of the transmission piece that went into here. And we're supposed to let it dry. Once it dries, we can thread the cap/pencil sharpener into this piece, and we insert the lead from the bottom. I'm not a huge fan of that, but I don't see where we have much choice. So I'm gonna do my best to put CA glue on there and not slop it all over the place and not glue this thing to where I can't, press the spring and release the lead. I'm gonna see if I can use this match and put just a little bit of glue on the end of it, and then spread that glue around the inside in an effort to keep from making a mess. Okay, now I've seated that on there. Whoops, you couldn't really see it, but I just basically dropped it right into the top of the pin and slid it over top of the tube, the transmission tube. I'm gonna set this aside and keep it straight up until it's completely dry. I'm keeping the shop pencil vertical by holding it between the soft jaws of my clamp. Once the glue dries, I'll insert the lead and I'll put the cap on, and we should have a shop pencil ready for use. Here's a look at the finished shop pencil. Really turned out nice. That's a wild looking blank. I do like it. Hello everybody. I'd like to thank you for joining me in the shop today for the turning of this shop pencil kit. I gotta say, the blank I absolutely love. The blank is fantastic. The shop pencil I'm not a fan of, and I will never turn this style again. And when I say style, I know there's another style because a buddy of mine, Lynn Lacey, several years ago, and I've looked for it. It's around here somewhere. I use it all the time. He made me a shop pencil, and it's a single piece. It doesn't have this piece in the middle, which I'm not a fan of. It's a single piece, and the action, like this one, when I press it, notice how the ink doesn't want to eject. I have to grab the ink and pull it forward. I'm saying ink, I mean lead. The one he gave me, I can just pop it and the lead ejects. Now his, I believe, came from Rockler. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it's a Rockler kit. This one came from Crooked Mill. I don't know who makes this for them, but I'm not happy with the kit. First off, the action, like we talked about. Second off, having to glue the back piece of this pin to the mechanism inside of the pin with CA glue. That's a terrible thing. You are all wood turners. You use CA to glue tubes into your pins. Have you ever had a pin, usually about 3 years in, it takes about 3 years, I've had them returned to me, where I turned an acrylic pin and I glued the tube into the blank with CA. And you can take that pin and you can drop it, and that CA has become brittle. It will separate. The tube won't break, or I'm sorry, the blank won't break. The tube just literally comes out of it. And that's what's gonna happen. This is gonna get brittle. And this is a shop pencil, okay? So what do you think the chances are that this is gonna roll off of my bench or I'm gonna drop it? I can honestly tell you the one that my buddy Lynn made me that I use all the time, it's hit the floor a couple of times. It's gonna happen. And when that CA gets brittle, that piece is gonna shoot off of there. It's a poor design. I'm just not happy with it. Some of you may like it, but it's not for me. As I move forward, I will go for the ones that my buddy used and get the single tube kits that have a little nicer action to them. And that's just a personal opinion. But I wanted to share that with you because we're all about sharing and honesty and teaching and learning. So I hope you enjoyed that. I would like to thank you for joining me in the shop today. I want you to know that you are always welcome in my shop. Come back and see me again, and have a great evening.